that went far beyond mere shock or surprise. As we stared at it, we realized it was actively warping our environment. Our perception of time completely bent and distorted, stretching the moment into something that felt entirely outside of normal chronology. Hi, my name is Jim. I was interviewed by Nick Hunter from UFO Chronicles about my encounter with a purple fairy aboard my boat. You can listen to my full first-hand description there. In 2019, my partner and I were out on the water in British Columbia. It was a completely ordinary day, the kind where you are just dialed into the environment around you. But in a matter of 5 seconds, my world was entirely changed and blown wide open. From the left, this incredible sound erupted, and this light started screaming toward the boat and came right through the wheelhouse glass, as though that glass did not exist right there, occupying the physical space directly between us. A small, illuminated, winged humanoid entity suddenly came to a complete and total standstill. It wasn't a distant light or a trick of the eyes. It was right there in our immediate presence. The moment it appeared, the atmosphere didn't just change, it shifted entirely. This overwhelming, profound wave of pure euphoria completely washed over both of us. It was an intense emotional and physical sensation that went far beyond mere shock or surprise. As we stared at it, we realized it was actively warping our environment. Our perception of time completely bent and distorted, stretching the moment into something that felt entirely outside of normal chronology. It was a reality-breaking, mind-bending experience that made us realize what we were looking at wasn't a fairy tale or a product of imagination, but a tangible, profound phenomenon. It was two-dimensional, illuminated like nothing I've ever seen before, so unbelievably loud, and 101 other things that I really still just cannot get my head around. The encounter lasted only moments, but the aftermath has stayed with me for years. It triggered a massive ripple effect in my life, completely shattering my previous understanding of the paranormal. I couldn't stop asking questions, because I knew we had brushed up against something much bigger, older, and deeply woven into the fabric of our world than the modern perspective on folklore ever lets on. Trying to process that experience eventually drove me to find others who had looked into the same unknown. I've definitely spoken to over 250 people now from around the world. I'm going to come back with more, because ever since I started this, not only have I validated what I saw, I have unlocked and shared dozens of experiences recorded live while talking to people, not the least of which is objects suddenly and spontaneously appearing out of nowhere. Objects changing right in front of people's eyes, visitations directly to the door by strange animals and people, unbelievable synchronicity and object movement from across the world. For example, I spoke to a woman named Danielle who channels fairies into dolls. So she told me, in about 35 minutes in speaking with her, as she started to describe this process, a pair of glasses on my table picked up in the air and floated across the room and dropped on the floor in front of me. That was just how it started. Fairies are real, and they are everywhere. I have collected enough contemporary evidence in the form of testimony to come pretty close to developing a very solid hypothesis that could be tested using the scientific method to prove these things are real.